It is Killer B, Brandon Davis himself. It has been a minute, Brandon, but you are back in action this Friday, November 15th, fighting for the inaugural Gamebred Bareknuckle MMA bantamweight title. Just a few days out, man. Give me the feeling pre-fight going into this big matchup.
Oh, man, feeling good. Weight's coming off good. I'm over here at the gym actually right now, about to do some jiu-jitsu. And then maybe cut a few pounds, not too much. We still got 3 days before weigh-ins. But, man, feeling good. A little bit, you get a little bit of the butterflies, but it's nothing crazy. Help you get ready.
That's right, man. You need those butterflies a little bit, right? If you don't have those, that means you're not alive anymore.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. It's been a while since I've had them. I've had a bunch of fights, even in the UFC, where I didn't have any of the butterflies. And I can't say they were lackluster fights. They still did good. But I could tell, there wasn't as much, drive to fucking not to not win, but to be the first, be an aggressor. I wasn't as aggressive in those fights. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be good.
I love it, man. All right, let's talk about the matchup facing Randy Costa, of course, in this fight. Savvy MMA fans will know that this is a rematch. You guys fought back at UFC 236 in 2019. You're both exciting fighters. I mean, this is great matchmaking, so the fact they put this together made a lot of sense. We know on paper it looks like it's going to be a hell of a scrap, but what were your thoughts when they said, hey, here's somebody from your past, Randy Costa, let's run this thing back?
Well, first off, I was in the corner in the fight that he beat Jason, so I was like, damn, he looked good. So, I mean, of course, you always have that. I've already beat him. Everybody always says, you've already beat him once, you can do it again. For one, people fight multiple times all the time and don't ever – it's hard to win 2 in a row against the same person. Or not in a row, but 2 against the same person. He's been training for a long time. He's gotten a lot better. When I fought him, he was earlier in his career. So now it's be more of a test for me, but I still think that I have the advantage for sure in the toughness. 2, I think I'm more durable. Cardio is better. He has good striking, good kicks, but I have all that too. And I don't think the fight's going to go to the ground. I mean, you never know. When somebody gets hurt, they shoot. I mean, he shot last time, and then I finished it on the ground. Who's to say that doesn't happen to either one of us? And I'm not, because shit, it could happen to me too. The dude hits hard. He almost dropped me with one of them that last fight. So, I mean, I think it'll be a banger. If it gets out of the first round, it starts to lean towards me more and more. And then the further it gets out of the first round, I think it becomes more of a landslide towards me. First round's a toss-up. Whoever hits the hardest and can take it, and the other one, I don't know. Maybe if we can both take it, we'll make it to the further rounds. And then, like I said, I think it starts to go to my edge, but we'll have to see. Got to make it out of the first round first.
I love it, man. That's an honest assessment, man. I think it's going to be a great fight. Now, this is your 3rd time fighting for Gamebred Bareknuckle, so it's a developing sport, right? And we've seen some differences. I talked to Jorge Masvidal himself. He told me one of the things that he likes about it is the pace, right? I mean, without the gloves on, no matter where you are, it's a potential trouble spot, so it's always busy. I've been surprised. You said you don't think it'll hit the ground, but I've been surprised how much it affects the grappling as well, right? I mean, you think taking the bare knuckle, you just think about the striking, but it really opens up the grappling as well because you don't have those gloves that get in the way there. So what have you taken so far? In your experience so far, what have you seen as a difference between this and traditional MMA?
Oh, man, my coach, Mike Sanford, my jiu-jitsu coach, he loves the no gloves, and I do too as far as for the grappling. And we practice certain stuff just because you don't get your hand caught up trying to slide it out to get that rear naked choke.
Right.
But also, when you have the gloves on, it's harder to squeeze and hold a grip, they make that C-cup grip. It's harder to do that with the gloves because they want to stay open a little bit, and then with their hand wraps and everything. So, my last fight in the UFC, on my page, I have a picture of my wraps, and I literally had them. They said I couldn't go no wraps. I literally had them wrap one round of gauze, not a whole roll, not a roll. We went one time around my knuckles and one time around my wrist because you had to, and then one piece of tape because you had to have a piece of tape on there. That way I could grab and squeeze. And man, if you're punching correctly, it shouldn't really make a difference. Now in bare knuckle, I mean, you hit somebody in the top of the head, you might break some hands. You might be out here looking like Uriah Faber just throwing elbows against Mike Brown throwback fight. But I think it helps with the grappling for sure. You get to have a stronger grip because you're not restricted by the gloves and you get to slide stuff in and out a little easier.
You know, it's one thing I know they've changed the UFC gloves, but I don't think a lot of people realize that I mean, it actually like forced your hand open more than it actually helped you at all to keep it closed. It's almost like a challenge to keep a fist.
Man, I swear, I used to hate having to get my hands wrapped because you have to get them wrapped so early. So not just having to put the gloves on, but you have to get them wrapped at a certain time. And then your hands are starting to go numb a little bit. And then you put the gloves on and it squeezes your fingers right here too. So now your fingers are going numb and now your hands are staying like this. And like you said, you will feel where you're trying to keep your hands open and it's a workout on your forearm. So, I mean, do I like getting punched in the face more without a glove on? No, but it's a give and take.
That's great. Listen, while we're talking about the UFC, I mean, you had a couple of runs. You didn't get the results you wanted, I know, but damn it. I mean, you had a couple of split decisions in there. You were always in a scrap. When you stepped in there, you knew it was going to be a fight. So I guess, were you maybe surprised that they didn't give you more of an opportunity, or is any frustration? I don't want you to talk bad about them, but are there bad feelings about that? Because I don't know. I felt like you were one of those guys when you were on the card. I know I'm getting a damn good fight, so why wouldn't you want more guys like that around?
I mean, I wasn't mad. You got to win to stay in the sport, so that just is what it is. In the league over there. So I mean, I knew when I lost the last one in a split decision, which I thought I won even with the knockdown in the second round, that I was probably getting kicked out. So it was no surprise, and it's my own fault. Like, don't let it go to the judges, what everybody says. I mean, it's a lot harder to control than you think. But that being said, no, I feel like I'm an exciting fighter. If you go look, half of my fights are on short notice in the UFC. And then I had a few that I took that I was injured and probably shouldn't have taken and still did anyways. But even the ones where I was injured or took short notice, I was fighting. You got to think, I fought some of the best people in the world. Zabit, Giga Jakadze, Kyung Ho Kong, a list of people. I can't. Denal Bakari was good. A list of people, though, that were really good. And I would take on short notice and stuff. And come out with the split decision. And when I say split decision, a lot of times I thought I lost. I know one of the times, Kyung Ho Kong, the whole crowd booed thinking I won. But I mean, and then Kyle Bochniak, I definitely thought I won that one, my first fight in the UFC. But I mean, the name of the game is to win. I didn't win as much as I should have. I think I put on good performances, and I think if I could have had those split decisions go into turned into my side to wins, then I think I'd still be in there and still be fighting the best. I think I'm definitely good enough to be in there. Would I like to be in there? Absolutely, because that's where you get the biggest recognition. But I love the spot I'm in right now, being able to fight for the title for Gamebred and fighting Randy, who's a fucking banger, and it's going to be a hell of a fight.
That's amazing, man. Well, I know you got to get to practice soon. Who are you working with most in this? And I guess, how do you prepare differently for bare knuckle MMA? Do you train in small gloves? Do you train bare knuckle? How do you train, and who are you training with most?
Yeah, training is, if I'm doing grappling, there's no gloves, so that's perfect. Just regular jiu-jitsu, little open hand strikes. When we're sparring, we wear muffin tops, so puffy, smaller gloves. Right. And then if we're some sparring, it depends on how hard we want to go to make sure I didn't get cut, because I got a black eye from sparring this past week. Then we'll wear big gloves if I know we're going in there trying to knock each other out or whatever. Just towards the end of the camp, you gotta have some real rounds. But sparring partners, you wouldn't imagine. Alan's actually a really good sparring partner, Alan Belcher. Really? He great boxer. Which Randy's boxing's good. And then I have a guy here, Adam, that has kicks identical, if not better than Randy's. Faster, harder. So it's good to see. Good to have that look. His boxing isn't as crisp as Randy's, and I'm not gonna say crisp. Randy's isn't like super crisp. He throws from awkward angles, hands in different spots, and from weird punches. So it's not what you're used to. But his boxing isn't as good as Randy's, but his kicks are. So prepared for the kicks. But Adam's good to go with. Just a bunch of people. Cam Teague, just on the Contender series, 8-1. He's 8-1. He's been coming over every week, and we get. That's who I get most of my rounds with. We'll go 5 back to back, and I'm in shape. So after like 3, I'll probably get somebody else in there. Maybe I usually get like a new person for the 4th round and then a new person for the 5th round. So I'm still tired and they're fresh. So I mean, there's been a lot of people. It's been a long camp, but everything's working out perfect. And like I said, I'm in shape. So the longer the fight goes, the more it's in my wheelhouse.
I love it. I do got to ask, though, man. Alan Belcher, obviously a legend in the game, but that man is jacked these days, bro. He's a heavyweight now. Is that a little bit nerve-wracking going in for sparring those rounds?
No, there is times where we go hard against each other, but I'm a little smaller than him and quicker, so I can hit angles. But he's clocked me with a few that I was like, all right, I gotta watch out. Or there's a few that I just didn't let him know they hurt me. And started getting a little closer and use my range a little better. But man, training with Alan, he's great, knows a lot, teaches all of us a lot, and like I said, great sparring partner to go with. He tries not to hurt you. If we're going hard, we go hard, but it just is what it is.
I love it, man. Well, a lot of great things happen in your career. Hey, have you started preparing for the Little League baseball season yet, though, right? Spring training's not that far away. You got to get the 3-peat, right? I mean, are you starting the preparation?
Hey, my son's over here now. He's just now getting jiu-jitsu, just getting done with jiu-jitsu, but we have fall ball and spring ball. So they have fall ball right now and they have their first playoff game tomorrow. And then if they win that, I think they have the championship on, they'll have a bye after that. Then they'll have the championship on either Wednesday or Thursday. So if I get weigh-ins out of the way on Thursday, go to that championship game and hopefully he wins, and then hopefully I win Friday. Same as last year.
What a week that would be. That's incredible, man. Well, listen, I know you got to get to it, so
right.
Let's go. Belt's on the line. It's Friday, November 15th. Mississippi Coast Coliseum. If you're in Biloxi, get tickets to it. If you can't, it's free on the Gamebred MMA YouTube channel, so there's no reason not to watch it. Last thing I'll ask you, big opportunity, man. You said it means a lot to you to be in here and to have this opportunity. What would meaning this title mean to you?
Man, right now it means everything, because to be the first at something as far as like a promotion that you think is going to grow, like imagine being the first bantamweight UFC champ, which was what, Dominique Cruz or somebody back then. Just means a lot as far as legacy. So I want to do that and then be able to defend it, hopefully for a couple of years, and then retire on my own. But just to have that, I was the first ever 135 bare knuckle Gamebred MMA champion would be awesome. So I'm looking forward to that more than anything.
I love it, man. Well, Killer B, you always must-watch TV, man. You're a fighter's fighter. You go in there and scrap every time. So I'm looking forward to this matchup. I'll be watching. Best of luck, and we'll talk again real soon.
Hey, thank you.